Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to understand today contest problem. This is in the daily series. So what we have given here is we have given a string that is called corridor, and it consists of seat and plant, right? As you can see in the example. So what the question is saying that we have to we want to divide the corridor into sections, you can say, as you can see below, and we have to use the vertical partitions. This is called, like if you write like this is called vertical partitions, and each section should contain exactly two seats. So two seats is here and two seats are here. It is also saying that there are some rules out there. Let's suppose if you can place a partition between any two characters, right? Plant P can be anywhere, right? And every section must have exactly two seats. Then you have to return the number of valid ways to place the section. Understand? तो क्या कह रहा है रूल ये कह रहा है कि हम लोग वी कैन प्लेस अ पार्टीशन बिटवीन एनी टू कैरेक्टर्स, ठीक है? एंड P is for the plant, so plant P can be anywhere. So if you see, we have given S here in the input. SS means this stands for seeds, PP for what you call plant, again coming S seeds, plant and seeds. It means we can place the partition between any two characters. Any of these any of the characters, you have to take two characters, and you can place this what you call divider, right? Vertical divider. So this plant P can be anywhere, but we have to focus only the most two what you call the seats. Okay, so you have to do in that way. So every section must have exactly two seats. So if you divide this, two seats is here, two seats here, and if you see the pictorial, you see every divider contains two seats. Two seats also here, two seats also here, like that we have. Okay, so we have to return the number of valid ways to place the partitions, and we have to find the answer, right, in taking the modulus, and then you have to find the things. Okay, so how we are going to find it, that we have to understand. Okay, so let's continue and understand it. So now let's understand this example. Okay, so very first, if you see the example, we have what we have corridors, we have given, right? Corridors. Okay, so in the corridor we have some value, right, that we have seen. So very first we have given SS, then we have given P, then we have given S and PS, right? This is what we have given. So if you see this example, right, you can say the indices, right? Let's mark these indices. So indices, and the indices of this corridor start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? This is what we have given. Can we say that? So total 7 characters we have. So the indices start from 0 and ends at 7. Can we say that? So this is a string, corridor is a string, and these are the indices, you can say, right? Now in the very first step, what we should do, we should identify the steps. Steps for what do you call seats, for the position for the seats, we can say that. Okay, so very first, let's write in step 1 what I want to identify the seats. Okay, how will you do that? So very first, the seat position, we will say, okay, what are the seat positions? Let's mark it. So we'll say, okay, very first, the seat position we have here is from here we'll say 0, 1. Can we say that? Then we have is 4 and 5. So these are the seats. We can say that you can mark it directly like here, here and here. So these are the position, these having the seats position. What is this? This is called seat position. Can we say that? We can say that, right? Now what we need to do, let's understand here. So very first, if you see here, the seats are grouped in the pair, right? So let's mark it pair first. Seats, let's group this into pair. Okay, so if you see here, the very first pair I will say is 0 and 1, right? We can say, right? So very first pair is this 0 and 1. So first pair. Next pair is, I'll say this is the another pair. So we'll say, okay, so pair 2 is 4 and 5. We can say that. So what is the valid total seats, right? Okay, so I'll say, and the valid total seats is 4 even, and it should be greater than or equal to 2, because the question says more than 2, right? At least 2 or more than 2, right? So this is, we have the valid seats we have, and so we are good to go, right? Now if you have observed, so this is a type of thing. Let's talk about in the deep first. So if you observe, right, then you will observe that between every two consecutive seats pair, we can place a partition into multiple positions, right? Because partitions can go between plants, right? So that is why we have to take the partitions in such a way. Okay, so let's try to understand. Let's we scan the string from left to right, and then we'll count the seats. Okay, so what I want, let's scan, we can say, right? Let's scan the string corridor from left to right and keep counting the counting seats. Can we say that? We can say that. So in the initial state, right? The initial state, what will happen? Total seats we have seen is 0, will take, and the ways will take as a 1, right? Now after first two seats found, right, let's suppose that we have found two seats. Very first it was SS, right? Then we will keep a divider, and then we'll pass the plants, and then we have SPS. This is what we have given. If you see, this is what we have given. Okay, so we'll keep like this, right? And this happens, when happens? It happens only after first two seats. Can we say that? So these two seats I'm talking about. Okay, so first two seats we observe, and then we have placed these thing divider, and we'll say, okay, once we found these two seats, so seats are how many? Seats are 2, and so we'll say first section is locked, right? Now we start counting the plant until the next seats appears, right? So keep counting, right? And you will see, okay, now we have our seats, let's call here This okay. Next SS, we have already this PP SPS, right? This is what we have given. So next, the seed pair we found at here. So we'll divide this one. Okay, but this time we should not take it here at this position. Understand? So what we will do, we'll say okay, we'll keep S P P. Now we divider put S P S. So the plant pair is still here is 2, right? So if you see here, right, if you see here, we have S, 2 seeds are there and there is a plant. So total plant pairs is how many? Let's say plant pair is 2. Previously it was 1, now here it become 2. So this is what we have. So why does this matters? Because if you can place these partitions after PP, right, there is 2 choice. We have choice 2 plus 1, right? Total choices, you know that after PP, right? So total choices plants plus 1 equal to 3. So multiple ways can come here. Okay, understand? Means what I'm trying to say here. So if you place the partition, if you place the partitions where after PP, correct? So there is 2 choices plus 1. That is why total choices is how many? Total choices is 1 into 3, we can say that, or 1 plus 2 first say is equal to 3, and that is why the multiple ways if you want to find, we'll say 1 into 3, which is equal to 3. So in both cases we can say the final answer should be 3. This is what we are trying to understand. There is no more left pair left here, right? And that is why we are done. Because if you see here, if you find 2 seats, this and this, after this we don't have anything here. So no more a pair left here, and so we'll scan is stop and we'll say okay, our final answer is 3, and we'll say okay. So very first, if you observe this, so total what do you call, the intuition that we are going to understand in this solution is key idea is very important. Okay, so each section must have exactly how many seats? 1 seats, 2 seats. 2 seats should be there. I'm talking about intuition. So if each section contains exactly 2 seats, right? Once we complete a section with 2 seats, right? Correct? We count how many plants appear before the next seat. And each plant should gap, there should be a gap with the extra partition choice. We can say that, right? There should be choices. And there can be multiple choices together. Okay, so if you say let me clean it. So very first what I said that each section must have how many? 2 seats. Okay, exactly. Then once we complete a section, once we complete a section with 2 seats, right? We can write exactly also, exactly. Then we count how many plants appear. Can I say that? We can say that. So, and this should be happen before the next seed. Understand? So very first, we'll check each section should contain how many 2 seeds. Once a section is completed with exactly 2 seeds, we will count how many plants appear before the next seeds. Understand? Now, in each such plant gap, right, that gives us what? Extra partition choices. Extra partition choices that we have seen, right? We have seen 2 plus 1, right? Partition choices that we will see, and after all we'll multiply the choices together, so we can find the answer number of ways, right? Because you will say, okay, why multiplication will happen here, right? Why multiplication will happen here? Tell me. So because choices are identical between the seed pairs, right? If you observe here, where here, so if you take after this or after this, right, you can take a here also, right? Or if you can take here also, the gaps are there, right? So it's all depends on you how you are making the choices, right? And that is why we can say, I'll say, because choices are independent between what? Seeds pair. Understand? So let's try to understand how to implement it. I'll show you the code, but let's try to understand how will you write the code, because you should practice on the code, right? Like in the white pages. So think that if, let me write here. So think that you have given a class and this class is solution. Can I say that? Okay. And we have a method, let's call public int, and number of ways, we can say number of ways. And in the argument, we are taking the string, and this is called corridor. Can we say that? So we have seen the corridor was what? It was SS, PP, and SPS, right? It was SS, PP, SPS. This is what the value was given, and the answer should be 3. Okay, this is what we have given, right? Let's try to understand. So very first, what we need to do, let's try to understand. So very first, we'll define that we have to take the modulus. Remember, any result is coming, we have to take the modulus, right? So you can define here that there is a final int, and you say we have a mod like this, and this should be 10 to power 9 plus 7, right? So you have to take first 30, then 30, then 30, but 7 you have to add, so you will take like this. Okay, so we'll say, okay, this is what we have to take, guys. Okay, this is called mod. And when you take the mod, right, you have to return the, when you are finding the ways, right, at that time you have to take the mod and you have to keep finding the ways. Understand? Now we will check the seed count each time. So let's define int seed count. So once you define the seed count, right? Initially we have to initialize with the 0. Will take long because we have to take the modulus also, right? So ways can be big, and so we have to take the mod. So we'll say okay, I'll take 1. Now we'll take the what is the plants between, right? So we'll say okay, I'll take int plant between, and we'll define this as a 0. I hope you understand till now. So this is what we have to define in the very first. Okay, now let's come back here. Now I will say okay, make a for loop and get all the character one by one. So I'll say chars ch, I'll say small, this is a small char ch, and we'll say corridor dot 2 char array, 2 char array. So why we will use this 2 char array? Because if you want to convert the string into character array, you can use this method 2 char array. Okay, now once you convert it, you can get one by one character at a time, like a array element, right? So we'll say okay, if the what happened to here, give me 1 second. Okay, okay, so what I will say, we will write character ch like this. Okay, and we'll get one by one character each time. Now we'll say character if it is equal to s, right? So if it is equal to s, it means this character is seat. We call this seat, and so we have the seat count, right? Go a little up. So we have this seat count, right? So we'll use this seat count plus plus. So we'll say okay, seat, and we have count, we'll say plus plus. Done. So every time we encounter the third seat of a group, right? So if every time we encounter the third seat of a group, what we need to do, we'll find the ways, we'll increase the ways, and we will mark the plant between these is a 0, right? So we'll say okay, once this is done, right? Once this is done, what I have to do is we will increase the seats, and we'll say okay, if what you call the seat count, right? Now the seat count is increased. Now seat count is greater than 2. If it is greater than 2, and seat count, if I'll take the, if we'll check if it is equal to 1, right? What does it mean? That we will find the seat count, right? That with the third seat of a group. So what I need to do, I will find the ways, right? कि मतलब जब भी हम लोग find करेंगे, like every time, if we will find the if we'll encounter the third seat of a group, right? Then we have to find the ways. Then we will find the ways. Means third seat आते ही we will find it. Remember, we have seen 2 seats was there. Where I was there? Yeah, little up here. Very first, जब 2 seats are no problem. When we will find the third seats? When we find the third seats? Here. So when we find the third seats, then we have encountered, and then we have tried to find the number of ways. Remember, like this. So that is I'm saying, if the seat count is greater than 2, and seat count, we are taking the mod with the 2, if it is giving remainder 1, right? Then we have to take the modulus, right? Here if you will take the mod, because we have to find. So we'll very first what we'll do, we'll say okay, this is our ways, right? And we'll multiply with the plant between that. So we can find plant between, and then we'll do +1. Correct? So you will find the ways here. Now once this is done, you have to take the mod. This is what we have to do. Now we have to reset the plant between ways. Plant between 0. We have to reset it. Once this is done, right? So in these if conditions, what we will do? So we'll say, okay, if else, what we will do? We'll say else if seat count is greater than equal to 2, and this is our case, right? And seat count, we're taking the mod 2 is equal to 0, means this is our case, means we want to count the plants only after completing a pair, right? In that case we'll say, okay, plants between is plus plus, plants between is plus plus. Okay, define plants, we should write plants. Okay, this is what we need to do. Okay, so once this is done, what we will do? We'll find the total seats. How? So we'll say, okay, total seat must be even and at least 2. So we'll say, okay, if the seat count is less than 2, we'll say, okay, what you need to do? We'll say seats count, take the mod 2 is not equal to 0, right? Then we'll return 0. Else in all other cases we will return, convert into integer, pass this integer and base. This is what we have to do. Okay, let me tell you what we have done till now. Okay, now try to understand what we have done. We know that this is a corridor and this is the string we have given, right? Now we will take the mod, because it is saying we have to take the modulus after the result. 10 to the power 9 plus 7, you have to take 90 with the 7 plus, right? So if the seat count initially will define as a 0, this is a seats count, right? Seat count, we can say, yeah, seat count, and the long ways will take and the between plants will take. The very first, you will convert the corridors into characters array, and each character you will, I think here is a type of mistake, so you have to remove it. Give me 1 second. This. Okay, so you have to I have to take this one. Yes, yeah. So what you need to do, you have to define this. Okay, you have to convert the string into character array. So when your character, one by one character will come from the string. Let's suppose the very first string we have given an s, right? So we'll say, okay, you will keep finding the s plus plus, right? So you will, your seats counts will get increases each time, right? What will happen? This seat count is getting increased each time that you can say. So seat count is increasing, right? So very first 2 seats are there, so seat plus plus will happen, 2 seats. Now when the seat count is greater than 2, right? And if you're taking the mod, if it is equal with the 2, if it is equal to 1, means odd number we have. In that case, we'll reset this, right? And we'll find the ways. Now once the seed count is greater than equal to 2, and if you find that this is a pair of 2, right, in that case you will increase the plants between them is plus plus. So see here, you are getting the 2 seeds continuously, and then you will define the plants between them. So you are resetting this again. So you have to find the plants, number of plants also, so that you can find the more choices, right? We have to find the multiple, we have to, because the choices are independent, right, between the pairs. So you have to use like that, and then you have, and after that you will check if the count is not coming less than 2, still we have returned the 0. Let's suppose the seed count is 1, right? We will not do anything, we'll return 0. And in the last we'll return the number of base with the taking the mode here. So this is very important to taking the mode. Okay, and this is what we have. I'll show you the complete code from the Leetcode. Okay, as I told you, very first we'll take the mode, right? Once you take the mode, right, what will happen? You can easily take the mode when we find the ways, as I told you, right? We can find. So very first you define the seed count, ways, and plants between them, right? These three initialize it. So this is the first part that you will initialize. Then from the corridor you have to convert into 2-char array. So each character you can get in the iteration way. So very first you will check if the seed count is increasing or not. With if it is S, you will increase the seed count. Then you will, every time we encounter the third seed of the group, how? If the seed count is greater than 2, let's suppose S we get, then we get PP, then again we get S. As soon as you get the next S, means you will come in this, right? So very first you will reset the plants between 0. Before that you have to find the ways. Okay, now you will check the seed count is greater than equal to 2. Let's suppose in this case, right, the seed count is 2. If you see, it is a even number, right? Means 2 only we have. Means we have to count the plant after the completion of a pair. So we'll say, okay, plant counts is increased to plus plus. Okay, so you will count the plant. Now total seed is less than 2 or not equal to 0. In that case we'll return 0. Means if it is less than 1, so it should be at least true 2. And in all other cases we will return the modulus, but you make sure that you will parse these ways into integer, so it will return type will match. Okay, I hope you understands. If you have any doubt, make sure that you will write the comment and you will understand here. Thank you for watching till now. If you really like this video, please hit subscribe this channel, and please share this video with your friends who is preparing, and support Excel Funda, and will provide you the better content as we are giving, right? Thank you so much. And if you are struggling with DSA, and if you want the structured way of learning, you can join DSA classes, online classes, and I will definitely help you. So please reach out to us and let me know your plan and journey about reaching to the FAANG interviews or the product based company. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys, thank you for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and let us know what you want to learn next in the comment below. And thank you for watching this video.